Hi, it's Jackie Ballheis. Welcome to my card kit this month. This is the Heartfelt Sympathy kit. Thank you so much, whether you're a customer that made a purchase to get it for free or if you're part of my online stamp club. This video is full of some tips and tricks that'll help you put your cards together this month, and also a few general tips, so make sure you watch the video. But I want to start out, I guess this would be more of a general tip, and talk a second about photopolymer stamps. I did share this not too long ago, but I thought I would add it to this video in case you missed that. But you know, when you get your photopolymer stamps, they come between two sheets of plastic, and it was always kind of a pain. Like, I'd peel this off, I'd take the stamp off, I'd use it, I'd always try to put it back in there and sandwich it in there. I have a solution. This just made life so much easier. You will notice my Heartfelt Sympathy set here, there's no plastic. Stamps are just stuck to the case. What I did is in the back here, you can slide, okay, this opens up a little bit, and you can slide in here. And I took the piece that was printed, okay, with the images, and I slid it in there. Got everything all unadjusted here. Slid it in there, and I did use a little glue dot. I don't know if you can see in the video, but it's underneath right here to hold it in place. And now all my stamps, I can just, you can see the image through it, so I can peel them off just like other stamps, use it, and put it back down. Great, makes storage so much easier in those. So that's just kind of a general photopolymer tip. Well, let's move on to this month's cards for the card kit. Number one here, pretty self-explanatory. I don't need to tell you a whole lot, except I do want to talk to you about how I put my button down. You know, often I always talk about all these different adhesives I use, and everyone says, what's the best adhesive? Really, truly, you need them all because they all serve a different purpose. In this case, we're adding a button to our card. Just take your silver cord, tie it, feed it through, tie it in a bow. Now, when you're ready to adhere this down, what you want to use is your glue dots. So you'll see in this, as you're using your glue dots, when the piece doesn't cover or is longer than what you need to cover the remaining dots on the roll, just tear it off. But then you'll see here's these little dots on here. If you've never used these before, take your button and you just press it right onto where that glue dot is. Press hard, you pull it up, the glue dot will stick to the button, and then I turn it around and I put one on the bottom. I use two with buttons. Put one on there, stick it on there. It will stay beautifully. It is not going anywhere on your card. So there is card number one. Card number two uses a piece of vellum, and your kit's either going to have gold or silver. Okay, and this baker's twine, you will either have gold or silver depending on what color vellum you have. But the problem with vellum is adhesive will show through it. So you want to be careful with this card. You'll see this isn't adhered. I have adhesive underneath this image here that's also holding my vellum down. That way it's hidden so I don't see it. Little piece of the doily. Actually, in your kit, you're going to get one doily, and you're going to have to just cut it in half to put half here, and then use a piece on here. Okay, and then I guess I didn't even use dimensionals on there. That's kind of unusual for me. Our little bow here. Take your and this happens to be silver cord. You're going to see this on another card, but just take your little piece of whether it's baker's twine or silver cord. It's a little short. Tie a bow. Okay. And then we're going to use those same little, you know, I just kind of play around with it till I get it how I like it. Trim your little tails off, and then use those glue dots again. And I just take my bow, I press it right down there on that glue dot. Glue dot will pop up with it. It's a little bit bigger, so I just bend it over a little bit, and then I can stick that down. That's how the baker's twine one is on there. So there is card 1 and 2 from the Heartfelt Sympathy card kit. Okay, we're going to go out of order just a bit here. This is actually card number 4, okay? And then we're going to move to the next one because they're all similar. Not a whole lot to tell you. We've got dimensionals underneath the black layer here. This butterfly, you should have this framelit if you've been with me for a while. If you do not, I cut the butterfly out for you and it's included in there. Again, here's our little gold cord just put on with a glue dot. So not a lot to tell you on that card. Now, the fun ones. Let's go to card number 3. 3, 5, and 6 all kind of use the same technique. That's why I waited. So I've stamped my image already. Oh, wait, before I tell you that, I want to show you this. This is a stamper's best friend. This is the paper piercing mat. Best $5 you will invest. in your stamping, to help you stamp easier. I use this whenever I use photopolymer stamps. There's not a lot of cushion on these, and if you're having trouble getting a really clear image, it's probably because of the cushion. So I stamp everything on top of one of these mats. It gives you just that extra little push to get a great image, especially with the bolder images. These, it's not so critical, but when you do the real bold one, it is. So our words are stamped on here. Make sure you're using the black archival ink because we're going to watercolor and you don't want that black to smear on you. And you'll see here, my pads look pretty messy. All I do when I watercolor is I take my pads, I squeeze them, and then I open them up to get ink all over the lid area. Now you can use a paintbrush with water. Blender pen will work too. However, it won't give you quite as much of a watercolor look. You'll see on this card where I've colored, I've got the green and the pink, and let's see if we can, okay, there you can see it a little bit better. But basically, I'm just taking my aqua painter, making sure I got water coming, and I'm watering down this ink a little bit, and then I'm coming on here and deciding where do we want this color, and I'm really just kind of dabbing it on there. Probably doing it on the wrong parts, but we'll just, we want it to be just that little bit of a messy look. Okay, so we'll add that on there. And then in between, I guess I don't have a piece of scrap paper here. I just draw this on scrap paper. We'll just do it on the back of this right now until it runs. Got quite a bit of pink on there. Get it clean, okay, so we don't have all that pink on there. Now I can go ahead and move to my green, and same thing here. I'm just kind of dabbing it in here. I want this to be kind of an artsy looking card, I guess I would call it. I am not an artist by any means, but I love when I can use watercolor because I think it really gives you that artist look. And that's all we're doing to color that piece. So if you look at the final card here, I've embossed with the brick wall. You can use embossing folder of your choice. And we just have the pieces underneath my black as dimensionals. Remember, I call this the stamper's crack. It's like candy crack. You go through tons of those. This one I have the silver baker's twine, and I have just wrapped it around. And I have included with this card a piece of white in your kit because when you use the dark cardstock, you're going to want something that you can write on in the inside. And after I tied the knot on here, I just kind of played with it and tried to fray it up, both the baker's twine and the silver, to get that look. So that's card number 3. Then we already talked about 4. Here's number 5, I believe is the order they're in. Again, I've used the brick wall on the front of this card. Same type of watercoloring. Okay, that time I just used the green, and then we added these little flowers. Now a couple little tips on the flowers. I've punched these out for you in case you don't have it, but it is the little itty bitty flower. Okay, now you'll notice when you look at my card, they're raised, the petal parts are raised up a little bit to give it a little bit of dimension. I don't like flat looking cards. So all I do is after I've punched it, I put it on this piercing mat again, and I use my stylus, the fat end. Now this you would have with either the score pal, or you can buy these individually. And I just take that fat end, I put it in the middle of the flower, and I press. And that's simply those little flower pieces. Boy, am I full of ink. I've been stamping. It'll just make your flower stick up a little bit. And then the adhesive I prefer to use for this is the liquid glue because I can put a tiny little dot on there and I can just stick it down on my card. And then you'll see the little pearls on there. I know some people always struggle with both pearls and rhinestones, trying to peel them off the sheet here. Either your nails are too long, your nails are too short. I like to use my little paper snips. I can take these and I can just slide it under there and pick it up, and then it's real simple just to put it down and push it off, and it'll stick exactly where I want it. Makes it super simple to do that. So there's 5. And then our final card, card number 6, again, very similar to what you've seen in the past. So we have dimensionals under the black layer again. We've done some watercoloring over the words. Here's our butterfly with the bow on it. And that's it. So these really are quite simple cards. I believe they're They're just nice looking, and especially sending sympathy cards is so difficult because you know it's not a happy occasion. So it's always nice for the receiver to get a handmade card to lift their day. So again, thank you so much for getting my card kit for Heartfelt Sympathy. If you have any questions at all about any of these projects, make sure you ask. I'm here to help you in any way I can. Thanks again.